Um, okay, let's start. I will, first of all, my name is Julian Costa. I'm, of course, from Nipo Software. I'm responsible for the LATAM help desk in the LATAM region. I'm in Buenos Aires. Uh, so welcome everybody. Thank you for being here. Uh, I will leave the lines open. I will try or to not to mute the lines because I want everybody to participate. Just I will ask you for take care or try to take care of about the background noises or the audio. Just if we everybody keep in order, I think we can make this an open session so everybody can participate. Uh, if you have any question, please let me know. You can type it in the text box or try to find a space to ask your question. Well, today in this academy is number 12. Uh, we are going to talk a bit about the Nfield copy output files and the process to download the data and description of the package, the data, and what you will find inside there. I'm sure most of you are familiar with this, but it's a good thing that we can go over and check for some details and try to find out uh, a bit more. Mm, let's see the agenda. Uh, Here it is. We will see how you create the download package. Really simple. Then the files that you get in that package, file structures, the media files, Paradata. That is something new if you come from our previous systems like the CATI or the our old KP. So this is something different. And then just to mention about the uh, export of the data to other systems. Okay. First thing, of course, to download the data, you will need to access our Nfield online Nfield manager that is online. You need to go to your browser with your domain user and password and log in there. Then you will go to your project. Here is the first screen you will get when you enter your project. Is all the details, and you will see that it's red here, the download data button. You will also find this download data button in the interviewer section, in the quality control, and also in the monitor. It's the same thing, the same button, and it will do the same process. So you can click it whenever you want. Very simple. Once you click the download, the small window will appear, and you will see all these possibilities that you can use to filter the data you will have in the package. Uh, you can select the type of interview, the type of data. If you want to just check or process only successful and only, for example, closed answers, just for a quick analysis of the data, you can select only that, and you will be ready to go. Next thing is the period. You can define the period when you click in the form. For example, field, you will be shown this place to select the date. Remember that you can define from a date in the from in the 2 days, or if you leave it blank, the whole information from all the process, all the projects, sorry, will be downloaded. So there is no need to select the date, but you can do it if you want some period of specific period of time. Um, Also, one thing is remember that this date is the sync date. Okay, it's not the date the project started, or the date that is the date of the interview, but it's the sync date. So you will get all the interviews that were synced during the period that you are defining. Okay? Well, and finally, you can specify a name for the package. If you leave it blank, then the name will be specified by the system. It's just a project name, and in this name text, if you define a period of time, will be added to the name. Okay. Any questions? Okay. Good. Once you click, uh, sorry, let's go back. And after all the defining the filters and the package characteristics, you will hit the create download button. Notice there is not a download button on just a create download. This means you will give the order to the system to create the package, and this is because the package may be really big, and the process will take really long to do it, depending on the amount of data you are handling. And if the system is being used at the moment, if interviewers are downloading or are syncing, or some other process is taken care at the moment by the system, then creating a really big download would affect other processes that are running in your domain at the moment. So you don't want that. So you click create download, and the system will find the correct moment and the correct time to create the package without interfering with the rest of the process running in your domain at the moment. Okay, good. Well, next thing, you go out of your project to start and go to download section. Once you enter your download section, you will have something like you're seeing in the screen, and you will see that here is the red arrow pointing the result URL. Here is the process you create, the download you create in the previous section. You will see here is the name of the file. This is the project name, and this is the date I defined when I did the download. And the start time of this process, the status, here you can see successfully completed. If the status is if the download is being created, you will see a different status there. Uh, of course, the type, and then is this result URL. This result URL, you will see that is where you need to click to actually download the file. So when the one is successfully completed, you will be able to click here, and the process of downloading the actual file will begin. Okay, this is really simple. Okay, now we created the package, created a download process. The process was successful, and we finally got the package. The package would be a zip file, and when you open the file, it will look something like this. So here you will have the data file. Okay, the O is the open answer file, the O file. The CSV file is Paradata, and all the media files from the project. You will see, for example, if in the project you took pictures, you will see pictures here. If you recorded, did a silent recording, you get the files for that. And if you recorded some open files as audio files, you will get that. So here is a complete file package, as you can see. Okay. Now we're going to see a small detail about the files you will get. Okay. The data file structure is really simple. You will get interview number in the first 8 positions. Then from 11 to 15, the interview time in seconds. From 16 to 19, the number of screens shown. Then the interviewer number, and the date and time of the last contact. Of course, when this is when the interview was successful. And then from 61, you will see the answers. Okay. So let me. It's something like this. Remember that I'm showing this just to show you that when we say the interviewer number, this one is the internal code created by the system when you create an interviewer, because this is not the name you define. Of course, you can see that. But when you create an interviewer in the system, a code is created by the system, a unique code, so that person can be identified, and this is the code you get there. And then another important thing is the date. Sorry, the date you can see here is 2017 January 5th, and then is 1936, and this is we will see that, but this time is unique. Is the central time is not the time of the device. Okay, we will see that soon. Data file structure. Next one is the open answer file structure. This is also really simple. Interview number, starting position. So This is a relation with the data file and the length of the of the data field, and then if there's an answer code, and then the text. If this open open answer is an audio file, you will get the name of the file, so you can uh, identify the audio file from there. Okay, next thing, media files. Okay, as we saw, the download package will include photo, audio files, depending, of course, on your script. And remember that these files may be really large, and so maybe there's lots of information there in your audio and in your image and photos, and so be careful to download them only if you need it. This will be really important for everybody, for you working in the domain, and of course for the rest of the people that are accessing your system. Because if you just download a really big package, every time you need only part of the information, will create a continuous process that will delay the rest of the work on the domains. So please be careful to download these big files only when you need them. Okay. Well, audio recordings, of course, during the interview usually is MP4 format, but will also depend on the device and the capabilities of that device, and if the device can handle this the audio format. If not, another format will be created depending on the device configuration. Okay. A file format for the audio files. This is you will have two different audio files, because one will be, of course, the open answer, and the other one is a silent recording. It's really easy to identify. You will have the interview number and the question reference here in the open answer. You will see here is an example. Is the interview number 8, and is the answer for the Q30. And if you're doing silent recording, you will have, of course, the interview number is identified as a silent, and you have here the position that you define when using the rec command for recording. This position is not used, or no, there's nothing to do with the position in Nfield copy, because how it works, but it needs to be there because of our scripting compatibility. And also, finally, that is this is interesting. This number 1 means that is the first silent recording for the interview, because you can, as you know, or you may know, you can record the whole interview in one go, let's say, or you can just record parts of the interview. So you define a rec command to start and a rec command to end that recording, and then you do it again, and then you do it again. So if you do it, for example, 3 times in the same interview, you will have a 1, 2, 3 here, so you can identify what happened first, and then the rest. Okay. Any questions up to now? Okay. Okay. Good. Finally, survey Paradata. What is the survey Paradata? As we saw when we download the package, there's a CSV. There is an Excel or comma separated value. Is a file you can open in Excel, and there's lots of information regarding the interviews there. Uh, Here we will cover that file and that and what information is in there. A file will look something like this. Let me. When you open the Paradata, will look something like this. Here in the first column, you have the interview number. Here is the field, specific field that we will see one by one, and here and the rest of the you will have the data or the information for that specific field. Okay, this is really simple, uh, and let's cover field by field what you will see there. Okay, first is location info and last location info. I put these two together because sometimes it might be confusing. Uh, the location info is uh, your best possible location, or your most correct, let's say, location that you will be using to analyze your data and where the interviews where the interview took place. Okay, this is the location with the confirm button when the last button was pressed during the interview. Okay, um, you will see there is two values, latitude and longitude, and then you have accuracy and you have provider, so you can understand the position and then how close, or because of the accuracy, how close it could be to the actual position, and the provider of this location, because the provider can be GPS or can be the network if the device is connected to 3G or to a Wi-Fi. Okay, and also uh, there's a final that is the validation if the system have if you define to wait for a specific accuracy. uh, There you will know if wait was forced, or it was the wait expired, or actually the correct location was found. So what is the difference with the location info and last location info? This last location info will be present if the it was configured to to wait for a specific accuracy, and let's let's see that. Okay. Okay. Here, in the details of the project, you can see ask interviewer to validate location after each interview. This means that you will ask after the interview, of course, to get your location. But then you have two extra fields that is required accuracy and time to wait for this accuracy. Okay, this means that you can define a minimum value in the required accuracy and define a time to wait for this value to be met by the device. For example, in this case, you need no less than or no more, let's say, that 20 meters from the correct value, so accuracy of 20 meters, and then you ask the device to wait for a minute and to continue looking for the correct value for a minute. So after that minute, after this minute, if the value is correct, then in the Paradata you will see, of course, the latitude, longitude. The provider is the GPS. Accuracy will be a number, of course, 20 or less, and then the validation state that would say this was the case. The system had to wait for a minute, and is correct. Sorry. Okay. Any questions here? Because sometimes could be a bit tricky to understand location info and last location info. Oh, let's go back. Sorry that I'm going fast, but here we are. Well, when you push the download, remember, you will get this screen. Okay, good. Let's go back, and we were here. Okay, so this is the location info. Remember, if you are confused about which one to use, the location info is the best possible location, so is with the best accuracy, so it's the one you should use. Okay. Okay. Good. Well, let's continue with the more fields here. Okay. Okay. Let's continue. Of course, interviewer ID. You saw that is the internal ID that is generated by the system. Okay. Let's see if I've. Okay. Okay. Let's mute. Okay. Okay. Let's continue. Sorry about that. Good. Well, let's continue with the next field. Interviewer ID. We saw that is the internal ID created by the system. We saw that in the data file. You will also have it in the Paradata, so you can identify if you need to cross-check both data. Quota variables and quota and quota. Well, Uh, Let me just a second go. Well, these two are of course related. In the quota variables, you will have which variables will were used if you uh, sorry, if you define any variable, any Odin variable in the script and that you are using to control the quota, there will be shown. Let me show you that. So I'm not clear enough. So let's go. I have a where was that? Here. Well, here's of course as you know how where you define the quota, and here is the Odin variable. I don't have a variable use here because it's only a quota at the start of the project, but then it's not used in the script. So, but if you have a variable defined here, that will be shown in that field. Okay, and the quota is the actual quota. Okay, the survey quota levels. If you have, for example, a gender quota, you will have a path that says gender and female or gender and male, so you can identify the the quota selection, let's say, that was used at that moment. Uh, okay. And recent is a response code. So depending on how the interview ended, you will have a code, as you know. So that code will be shown there. Interview end time is the timestamp where the interview was completed, and then remember that we saw that in the data file, uh, and I showed you that it was not the device time, but this the UTC time zone. So remember that this is a centralized system, so you will see same time for everybody because it's the system time and it's not your time or your domain or your device time. So depending is the UTC time for everybody, and depending on when you are, you will have to add or subtract your time difference to get your correct value. So remember that when you see this data, because sometimes if not, you will see that depending on where you are in the world, you will see that people are running interviews at 2 or 3 or 4 in the morning. So it's not what they should do. But remember that is the UTC time zone that is shown in these files. Okay. Test interview, of course, it will show you a true or false value depending if this was a test. Remember that we saw earlier that you can check to download, or you can select to download or not to download these test interviews. But in the Paradata, you will see a true or false, just to understand that was part of the test or not. Sampling point ID. This is the ID, the sampling point with the ID that was assigned to the sampling point when it was created. So if you remember that you upload if you use the upload tool, you upload the sample point from the Excel file that is that you use to input all the values, and there's a field there that is a sampling point ID. So this you will create this ID when you upload all the data for the sampling point. And the address ID is internal ID created by the system, so you are not defining this, but each address when you upload it will have a ID created by the system, so the system and you of course can identify each address. Please let me know if there's any question. Just type it in the chat. Next, address. Well, this is it looks complicated, but it's not like that. Each address when you upload, of course, will have its own information. Well, let me stop for a second because I have a question that belongs to the previous slide. Yes, you mentioned the interview and time is stored in UTC time zone. I understand it holds true for yes. The the whole system is working with the UTC time zone, so you will always work with that value. I don't know if that answers your question. Please let me know. But yes, the system is, because it's centralized, it can only handle one time, and the UTC was used because it's a central value for everybody. Okay. Well, the addresses, of course, you have survey ID, sampling point ID, address ID, the details of the address, the added date, if there's appointment, there's a description or all the information for the appointment, and last contact date, and inside every address you will have contacts. This is the tip of the arrow that I don't know why it moved over here, but I wanted to point to the other column because inside every contact you will have again a big list of fields and a big part of the data in each contact. So you can understand, of course, how many contacts and then and the information for each specific contact to that address. So you get again address ID, sample point ID, contact ID, and you will get GPS information that we can see if it's enabled, network enabled, latitude, longitude, provider, accuracy. So there's a lot of information that we saw earlier, but now is for each specific contact inside an address. So you have a start interview, end interview, the date, and the response code, and if it is a final. So if response code is successful, you will see it's final, and that will be the end for that contact, and it should be for that address. Okay. Let me see if I'm missing something. I don't think. Let me know if you have a question, but the idea was for you to understand it. For each address, several contacts can be happening, can be done. So in each contact, you will have again the list of uh, fields that can give you information about that specific contact. Okay, let's continue. Uh, a bit more of Paradata fields. Mm, Here is interesting. Sometimes for support, if you have any issue, is interesting to look here, and of course we will ask because it's the client information. Client information, it means the app information. Okay, if you are running, of course you will be running the Nfield client in your device, in your tablet or in your phone, and here is the information about the app. Your version, device name, manufacturer, or who built your device, and the operating system. Uh, because sometimes some issues will rise because of different client versions in the same project. So you're running a script that is working okay in one device but not in other. So this info is really useful them, and so you can understand if all your interviewers are updating the devices and and not only in the client version but in the OS, the Android version. Sorry. Uh, a couple more fields. The E tag, it will be the version of the survey. If you have a survey with several versions, then you can see that there. Again, the time zone, you can see here. Remember that we saw that the system use the UTC for everything that is related with timestamps and all that. But then you will see here time zone, well, where the interview was conducted, so you can understand the difference. Let me show you if we go back. Come on. Let me show you the file. Uh, okay. Here's the time zone, so you can understand uh, what the time means. So, for example, at this moment, 1942, that is almost 8 p.m. At that time, I was already at home and I was not conducting an interview, but because of this time zone, I know that I'm plus 3 hours here, so I know that was almost 5 p.m. On my device. Okay, good. And the device ID, this is an ID, a unique identifier ID that can be created for the device, and you can so you can use to identify all your IDs in your of all your interviewer team. And then interview quality is a field where you see if you use the quality control in your project. Let me show you that. So we go back here. Remember that you have quality control. Sorry, this is not the project. This is the project. Quality control. So you will have the possibility to do a quality control, and the value you select here will be shown in the Paradata when you download it. Okay, I have this three interviews that are the ones I have not checked, so there is no value that I can show you there. But okay, just for you to understand what is that. Okay, this is the end for the that was the end for the Paradata. Now a simple mention of the export. As you know, Nfield copy is in Odin data format. You know, the you have the, as we saw, the data file and the open file that is ASCII plain that you can export to a big number of things systems to using the Odin developer. You can export to SPSS, Scribe, Quantime. If you you have configured your DSC in your SPSS installation, you can read directly the NIPO software files, and I'm seeing, sorry, about a comment about the upload tool not working for the GPS. I'm sorry, I didn't know that. I'm taking notes because as far as I know, that was working. So let me upload to GPS. Sorry. Uh, I will check for the upload tool and the GPS functionality because as far as I know, this was working. This was created by a colleague of mine, that is Edwin, that is in the Hong Kong help desk. And last time we talked, this was working correctly. So I will double check. And also about the read survey, I will check on that. Remember that read survey and upload tool are part of the useful tools offered by NIPO software that are created by a colleague or sometimes customers. So we share them, but these tools are not part of the software package that we offer. So we share them, but it's not that we can give support like the rest of the tools, our software. Another question. Give me a minute to read. How about okay? Let me. Mm, okay, Mark, I'm reading your question. What about custom proprietary data, which I believe is now stored for analysis? How is captured and stored? No, it's not. It's not ready. As far as I know, it's not ready. It's not rolled out now. But let me check on that. I'm taking notes. So I I come back to you, or I will ask the team to inform you properly. And team, of course, you're right. Kanta users can use the Nfield FMS or the maps that Cantor provide. That is a Cantor tool. It's not from Nipo Software, but of course it's available for everyone inside Cantor companies. Uh, okay. About the documentation for the Paradata elements, some documentation is being created. Uh, of course, we will share this document, this PowerPoint, so you can have something to look after this session, and a small document is being created with some details about the Paradata field. So, sorry. Also, that will be shared in the future. Okay. Let's move to the questions. That is the section now that we are having. Okay, from Camilo, please. What is the role of addresses? Well, the addresses is I think that is not covered in today's session. So if you want that to know more about that, please send an email to the help desk, and we can cover that question over there. I will take the case and answer to you, and if you need it in Spanish also. Okay. Also, from Sumik, I can see your question. I'm seeing that you reported to the help desk. Please go to the help desk again. Again, this is I understand your question, but this is not part of this session. So please go through the help desk, so your question can be handled there. Okay. Any other question related with this, with what we saw today? Please let me know. Raise your hand or type it in the chat. I think we covered everything from the download data process. At least a quickly overview of what you will need to do and what you will see when all the files are downloaded, and some details of the Paradata that sometimes are confusing. So please let me know if you have any question. If you need to go back and to one of the slides and see something again, let me know. Okay. Okay, then I think we had a really good session. Please, if you have any question later in the day or tomorrow, or when that question appears, please send us emails to the help desk for us to take care of that. Of course, this session is being recorded, so this recording will be shared with all of you later. So if you need, you can see it again. And the same with all the documentation that you saw here will be available for everybody. So please feel free to take a look. And again, if you have questions, please uh, send us an email to the help desk. So thank you everybody for your participation and your questions. We'll see you all again in the